Hey, what's up you guys, it's Dorothy and welcome back to my channel. In today's video we're going to go into chapter 2 of the reappearance of Rachel Price by Holly Jackson. This video may contain sensitive topics and foul language. If you do not wish to continue, I suggest you click off the video now. You have been warned. The door pushed open, shushing on its hinges. Hello? A woman's voice sailed into the room. The girl at the front desk said you were filming in here? Did Belle know that voice? There was a flicker of recognition, but she couldn't place it, not without a face. She tried to see her stomach clenched slug waiting in her mouth, clicking heels on polished wood as the woman approached them. Ramsey pushed up from his chair, nodding at James behind the camera as he did. Hello, he said in a bright voice. Thank you so much for arriving so early. I hope your journey was okay. We were just finishing up here, Susan. Belle swallowed, jaw unclenching. For a second there she thought he was about to say, Nice to finally meet you in person, the woman said, walking over to Ramsey, taking his outstretched hand, bracelets tinkling at her wrist as she shook it up and down. Susan. Why couldn't Belle think of any Susans? Likewise, Ramsey replied. She stepped into the light, well dressed in a dark skirt, suit, and a frilled emerald scarf, and Belle could finally see who she was. Of course, because she wasn't Susan to Belle, she was Grandma, Rachel's mom. Rams, should I? Ash began, still floating there awkwardly, an unclear hand gesture, thumb pointed at Belle. Oh, well now, Grandma said to Ash, looking up and down. Aren't you quite something? Belle stood, cushions falling out of their neat arrangement behind her. Hi, Grandma. The camera stood up with her, James removing it from the stand and placing it on his shoulder in one swift movement, stepping back to widen the shot. Grandma blinked back at her. That isn't my Annabelle, is it? She said, voice rising at the end. Oh my goodness, just look at you. And the next moment, Belle's face was pushed into the frilly emerald scarf as Grandma folded her into a tight hug, a glowing smell of perfume filling the back of her throat. I can't believe it. You look so grown up. Well, Belle said, her ribcage too tight. That's because I did grow up. I've looked like this for a few years now. Grandma stood back to study Belle, bony fingers hooking onto her shoulders. God, you look so much like Rachel. No, she fucking didn't. Grandma's eyes misted over, a tremble in her bottom lip as she bit down on it. Granddaddy would have been so proud to see you all grown up. I'm sad he missed it. If only your father hadn't kept us away from you so much. Cruel, really, my only grandchild. She let go of Belle and reached into her pocket for a wrinkled tissue, blowing her nose loudly, a bird caw filling the room. Didn't even let you come to the funeral, Grandma sniffed. Belle wouldn't let that slide. That's because you told him you didn't want him there. She replied, sharpening her tongue, locking her jaw. Was Belle allowed to swear at the woman? How old was she? Early 70s? That was acceptable, right? But I wanted you there. Granddaddy would have too. But the only thing he really wanted before he died was to finally see his daughter's killer behind bars where he belongs. She said pointedly, wiping her nose again for effect, and then cancer 4 years ago, speaking the words in Ramsey's direction. Very sorry, he said. Almost a whisper, like he didn't want to intrude on the scene, disappearing into the background. Were they supposed to be filming this? Grandma smiled sweetly at her, but all Belle could think of was Dad calling Susan a masshole because she was from Massachusetts and she was Anne. Oh, I've just had a perfect idea, she continued, oblivious. You could come stay with me this summer. It would be so lovely. You can help me out with the horses, spend some time in the house your mom grew up in, get away from that man. What do you think, Annabelle? What did Belle think? That it was an empty offer, and if Grandma really cared, she would have visited or called, but she didn't, and when the cameras were gone, she'd fly off and disappear again. People did that. Sounds too good to be true, Belle said. See, she could be an asshole too, and that man is my dad. Grandma's teeth snapped together. That man is... He did not kill Rachel. Belle's eyes filled with fire. Just the two of them in the room, and a British film crew hiding in the dark. You got what you wanted, Grandma. He was charged with first-degree murder. He did his time in jail waiting for the trial, and guess what? They found him innocent. Not guilty is not the same as innocent, and juries can get it wrong, Grandma said, lips moving too much around the words. I'm not the only one who thinks so. Everyone knows he did it. He had an alibi, Belle spat back, throwing it an angry smile. You seem to conveniently forget this. He still had time, Grandma scoffed, turning to find Ramsey. No, Belle would not let her have the last word. Not when the cameras were watching, not about Dad. He was at work that day. At around 2 o'clock, he cut his hand badly, injury sustained when he killed her. Belle laughed. There were witnesses, multiple people in the auto repair shop who saw him cut his hand, Grandma. He bandaged it up and drove to the nearest emergency room in Berlin, where you and Rachel were. Grandma's eyes lightened, and she scored a point. Just wait, Belle was going to bury her. That's a coincidence. She locked her jaw and took aim. He's captured by security cameras the entire time he's waiting for a nurse to get his stitches. The entire time he's in the hospital, he leaves at 5:38 exactly and drives home. That takes around 16 minutes, by the way, like his defense attorney said, which brings us to 5:54 p.m. when Dad gets home. I'm found by Mr. Tripp a couple minutes after 6 p.m. The police arrive and call Dad at 6:25 once they identify me from Rachel's ID. Dad was home for that call, plus an earlier call to Rachel's phone at 6:04 when he's wondering where we are, which also pinged the cell tower, proving he was at home. If you're saying he drove straight to the abduction site 19 minutes away from the hospital, that means he only had 8 minutes to abduct Rachel, kill her, dispose of her, and get home in time for that phone call. The drive home itself is 6 minutes. It's impossible. He didn't do it. Belle caught her breath. She learned it all by heart long ago. Wasn't the first time she's had to use it. You think that's enough time to kill someone and hide a body forever? Grandma looked pale, skin hanging in creases around her mouth, a life spent frowning. That's your mother you're talking about. Excuse me, that word again, just as unnatural in Grandma's voice. What's going on here? A new voice entered the room, one Belle would know anywhere. Dad, she said, searching for him beyond the glare. Charlie's silhouette crossed the room toward the film set, boots heavy against floorboards, shoulders heavy inside his grease-stained shirt. You told me you'd be done with Belle at 2, he said, eyes on Ramsey, one dirty hand skirting over his short hair, dark creamy brown like he had his coffee, a touch of gray at the temples. It's almost 3:30. I got worried. Her phone's off. Sorry, Ramsey bowed his head. Time got away from us. Charlie Price, Grandma said, holding on too long at the hiss at the end of his name. Charlie's eyes finally found her, widen in recognition. Belle caught movement over her dad's shoulder, watching as Ramsey turned to James. Keep rolling, he mouthed silently, spinning his finger as the camera obeyed. What is she doing here? Charlie asked the room. They're making a documentary about my daughter. Why wouldn't I be here? Grandma retorted, puffing up beneath her bright green scarf. She glanced down at the wrinkled on her nose. I see you still haven't learned to wash your hands. I was at work, Susan, Charlie said evenly. Some of us work for a living. There he goes again, she sniffed. So combative all the time. Charlie must be awful for you to be around that every day. Annabelle, sweetie. Belle began. It's okay, Belle. You don't need to answer that. Her dad blinked slowly at her, his pale blue wide-set eyes telling her everything he needed to. Angry people look guilty, he had always said. Does he not let you speak, sweetie? Susan, please, Charlie said through gritted teeth, taking a bite out of the stale air. Such a temper, Grandma replied, but she was the only one with a raised voice. The knot was there again, and Belle's gut tightening and tightening, chasing its own tail. Why are you still filming? Charlie switched his attention to the boom microphone floating above his head, positioned in Saba's steady hands. Stop recording, please. Why, Charlie, Grandma said. You don't want the world to see who you really are? The air in the room thickened, clotted, and gummy, and Belle forced it down, feeding the knot in her stomach. And who am I really, Susan? Charlie turned back to her. You want me to say it again? Charlie backed off, lips pressed into a stiff smile, fingers scheming the stubble on his chin. No, that's okay. You've said enough over the years. Surprised you aren't bored of talking to the cameras by now. I'll stop when everyone knows the truth, Grandma bit back. This is pointless, Charlie sighed. Excuse me. You lost your daughter that day, Susan. I lost my wife. Life as I knew it. Come on, Belle. Grab your things and let's go. You must be hungry. I'm going to leave it off right there, and I will see you guys in part 2 of this chapter. These chapters are really long, so I'll see you in the next video. Bye.